the shows won't try. Over the top rope, past the safe and the stale. We hit what they duck, tell the stories they bail. Over the top rope. Backstage, unscripted, unafraid. We call out the myths, pull the mask off the game. Deep cuts from the road, from the crowd. If they won't touch it, we say it out loud. Over the top rope, where the wild words fly. Hey, this is the podcast, other shows won't try. Over the top rope, past the safe and the stale. We hit what they duck, tell the stories they bail. Over the top rope.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the return of Over the Top Rope podcast with your podcaster, C2K Cars to Kill, the legend of backyard wrestling, transmitting live. I just woke up. Transmitting live from Dunkirk, New York. Yes. We are in Over the Top Rope podcast, one of the most hateful, most lovable podcasts in history. Oh man, I remember when I started this podcast. It was basically. It was all about unmasking people and showing the world how these people truly were and stuff like that. But it's a little different. This podcast is a little different. If you listen to the lyrics, it says straight up, it's like we unmask the people, tell the truth, and we tell this and tell like it is. This is a podcast that not other podcasts we even dare to talk about things that we talk about. And this podcast is not even a year old, like one of my newest podcasts that I ever created. But anyway, let's talk about our topic of today, March 1st, 2026. And it is 3:43 p.m. We are transmitting live from Dunkirk, New York. Yes, we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to tell the truth and speak about nothing but the truth. So I want to talk about a topic, and I know the title that I chose for this topic. I really don't want some fans to think, we are grateful. No. It's just when you guys listen to this topic, then you guys will understand the reason why I picked this title for this topic. WWE Elimination Chamber was great. I watched the whole pay-per-view. And it was great. It was just like I expected. And Cody Rhodes. No, I think it was what? No, it was Cody Rhodes, right? Cody Rhodes won. Yeah, Cody Rhodes won the Elimination Chamber. Rhea Ripley, won the Elimination Chamber. AJ Lee is the new women's intercontinental champion. CM Punk still the WWE champion. a world champion. I think he's a world champion. Yeah, he's the WWE world champion. But there's one thing that happened that I kind of knew, but I was not expecting it to happen. You guys remember that big box, the big box that says don't open till February 28th, right? That people was, they had their opinions, they had their, they was guessing, who it was. A lot of people was talking about it was, Chris Jericho. Oh yeah, hold on. In talking about talking about that, we know who is the unmaxed man. The unmaxed man is Seth Rollins. Like I knew it was a Seth Rollins. That was the main max man. But this other max man was basically a it was basically what's the word that I'm trying to find out? A distraction. It was basically a distraction. It were decoys, a distraction. And that's what it was. It was a distraction, and I knew that not only we was going to find out who it was in the box that people was guessing, who kind of they knew there was, but there was a name that was never mentioned. And we will talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, this Max before Seth Rollins, there were decoys, there were a distraction, and Seth Rollins, knew what he was doing. Seth Rollins, he was waiting for the perfect time to show his face that he was the unmatched man all the time. And I knew it was Seth Rollins, but wasn't expecting to be. I was kind of, to tell you the truth, for the Max Man, I was kind of to expect to happen at WrestleMania. Like, yeah, I was kind of that it was going to happen at WrestleMania, but it happened yesterday at it happened yesterday at Elimination Chamber. It still was a perfect time because it was basically I think his mission was to not let the Vision go to WrestleMania. And it happened. It happened. That's what he did. He stopped the Vision from going to WrestleMania. So now here we are. No, who won? No, Cody didn't win, right? No, Cody didn't win. Randy Orton. Randy Orton was the one that won the Elimination Chamber, which I was happy for it. I was waiting for Randy Orton to win. Like, I wanted to Randy Orton to win, and I think I talked about it on the AT show when I think it was the AT show, and I talked about it. I think I talked about it on C2K in France. That I wanted to either Cody Rhodes or Randy Orton to win the Elimination Chamber, and I was right because Randy Orton won the Elimination Chamber. So now, because Drew McIntyre, he basically interfered the match. So now Drew McIntyre is going to face Cody Rhodes. I think it's going to be today. I think it is. or on SmackDown. Listen, lady, every time I try to do a podcast, you want to interfere. You wait right the moment that I'm doing a podcast, and then you want to talk back at me. Do you listen? Let me show you again. Let me show you this person right here. This one right here. You see, this is what I go through. She knows what she's doing. She says what I go through. She sees me doing my podcast, doing my talk show, and this one right here. And I lay her in the room so she could stay in the room. She could rest. She could rest in the room. Once she hears me talking, this is what I go through. Listen, you need to let me do the podcast in my talk shows. People are watching. I'm live. Okay? So now go to your room. Go. Room. Go in the room. Okay? Okay, mama. Okay, I'll talk. Okay, we'll pray. And we'll pray until you get tired. She's already in the room. She's mad at me now. She's just looking at me now. Anyway. So yeah, it just. How do you you can't fast now? Again? What you want? What? Wait, what you want? What you want? What you want? Let's see what I go through. And she talks too. What? What is it? What is it? And what else? And what else? Okay, I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. Are you getting at me now? Look. Do you hear that? What I gotta go through? Excuse me. Okay, fine. Yes, you want me to hold you? Okay, I'll hold you. Okay, Lord, okay? But I still gotta do a podcast to do. Okay, because this is what you want. And then you get mad at me if I don't pay your attention. And then when I pay your attention, you want to go to sleep. I could do that too. I could do that. What? Huh? What? Not the ball quote. Okay. What? And what? Oh, excuse me. Okay. And? Okay. But you need to understand that I'm trying to do a podcast. Okay? Remember, I'm a podcaster. I'm a talk show host. And I got to entertain my fans. You can't just interrupt every time you want to. Young lady. I could do that too. Are we here getting attitude? What? Well, if you're tired, you could go and lay down. You could go lay down. If you're tired, you could go lay down. Don't get an attitude with me. I could do that too. Lord have mercy. Can I do my podcast, please? I buy you toys. You got toys to play with. You got toys to play with. I got you snacks. You got a beautiful bed that you could lay in. But this is what you want right here. And then you get mad at me when I talk to you. You get mad at me. You get an attitude problem. Yeah. So can I please do my podcast? Yes or no? I'm gonna put you down. You know what? You could sit here. See, look. You can see right here. You next to me. Okay. All right. I'm right here. I'm going nowhere. You can go lay down. Lay right next to me. Okay. Now I have an audience to entertain. Thank you very much. Lord have mercy. This is what I go through. Lord have mercy. This is my mom's dog. Jesus Christ. Lord. Now she's just laying there, just looking at me like, give me the eye. Just looking at me. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Let me see if I could. I know I gotta have some comments. Just for some reason, I cannot see the comments for some reason, and then I will see the comments after the show. That's crazy. What we was talking about? We was talking about Seth Rollins. Okay, Seth Rollins. He waited. He waited the for the perfect time to reveal himself as the masked man to stop the mission, the goal from the vision, which it was basically, go to WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre interfered, so now we're gonna have. I think it's gonna be Sunday. Excuse me, not Sunday. Friday SmackDown. Is Friday SmackDown? Yeah, I think it's Friday SmackDown. We're gonna have Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Okay. But still, whoever wins the title has to face Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Because Randy Orton won the Elimination Chamber match. And that's what's going to happen. Now let's talk about the topic that the reason why I chose this title. So everybody, I know that there was a big box that it says do not open till February 28, 2026. There were expectation. People was guessing on who it was. People thought it was Chris Jericho. People thought that it was Ryback. People thought it was. They would keep mentioning this legends, and that was not. They haven't wrestled for WWE for a very long time. But nobody mentioned this name. Nobody mentioned, and I kind of knew who he was because when this person was released from AEW, I automatically knew that this person was the person that was inside that box, and the person that it was going to come out of that box in elimination chamber. I already knew. And who it was? Danhausen. Danhausen, which I already knew was going to happen. Danhausen was the person that came out of that box. And I get it. Not a lot of people in the WWE knew who he was because they don't watch AEW. But people like me, that we watch all these wrestlings, it doesn't matter if it's AEW, TNA, Real Honor, WWE, NXT, we still watch it. Why? Because we love wrestling. We are we are now like this new generation of fans, of wrestling fans, that are a bunch of cry babies. And I said it, bunch of cry babies, because that's what they are. That's what these people are. They bunch of cry babies. I come from the Xennial generations. I was born in the 1983. And I started watching wrestling when I was like 5 years old. When I was 5 years old, in 1985, where I think that was the time that I think I watched. I think it was Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior for the WWF Championship. And which the Ultimate Warrior won. So I come from that generation. I lived that generation. I lived the Attitude Era. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty. Undertaker, Kane, the the DX, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and China. Like, I lived that generation all the way into now. All the way into now. So I come from a generation of fans that didn't cry. Come on. So they was crying about, and like they very opinionative. They complain too much. And it's like they don't understand. Like, we understood that we are fans. And we had to do a job of a fan, which was enjoy the show. A lot of indie pro wrestlings, they talk about this and they send the message to the fans. And they say that if you're not in the ring, you don't have any experience of a wrestler, and all that you do is pay for the ticket. So sit on the seat where's the audience and keep your mouth shut and enjoy the show. And I agree with that. I agree with that. Because fans, and I'm not talking to all the fans, this or that are fans like me. And yes, even though I'm a backyard wrestler, been doing this for almost 34 years. And yes, I went to the indie pro wrestling and didn't win well, but at least, yes, I was with, with a group, I was with a group named the Underworld Cartel, and there was a storyline right there. Yes, I did training in the indie pro wrestling ring, but I'm still a fan. When I sit down and I watch all these indie pro wrestlings, when I do watch WWE, TNA, NXT, AEW, Ring of Honor, even though I have the experience of a wrestler, even though I have the experience of a backyard wrestler, but I still keep my mouth shut, even though I know what happens behind the stage. I know about cafe. I know what's inside the ropes. But at the same time, when I watch the shows, even including, it could be, I'm a fan of many backyard wrestling federations. And even though, yes, I'm C2K Chorus to Kill, the legend of backyard wrestling, but I sit down. Yeah, I need to smoke. Hold on. The dog is back. He's back in the. So I need to smoke. Because this is getting interesting. I gotta smoke. And I don't have my coffee. I didn't make coffee. I forgot. So even though, yes, I am the legend of backyard wrestling, C2K Chorus to Kill, multi-time champion. Yes, I went on the EFED federations, which I'm known in the EFED federations. I know what happens in the EFED federations. But when I sit down on my couch and I turn on my TV to put it on YouTube, so I can watch WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, and all this, pro wrestling, or I watch any other pro wrestling, indie pro wrestling that is out there in Rochester, New York, or when I watch other backyard wrestling federations like RCEW, Racine County Entertainment Wrestling, TBW, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, WCE, Wrestling Championship Entertainment, I sit down as a fan and I enjoy the show. I don't come to, which I know this backyard wrestlers. They are my friends. You guys see all of them on my talk shows almost every week. And I don't come to them and say, hey, I like the show, but I didn't like this part of the show. I didn't like this person that won the match. No, I don't do that. Because even they ask me, do you like the show? I say, I love the show. I love your storylines. I love what you guys did. And that's it. I don't say, oh, you know what? I loved it and I like it, but you know what? I don't think that, and I'm just going to mention names as an example. Let's say if Michael Craven came to me and asked me how was the show in WCE, right? And I say, yeah, I liked it, but, and I'm just, it's an example, but I didn't like how Adonis Filios won. Let's say for example, I'm gonna say let's say if he really had, okay, I'm going to, like, this is made believe now. Okay, we are in made believe, and I'm going to create a match right now. I'm just creating a match from WCE, and let's say that Ray Oos was the All Out champion, right? And let's say that he faced, and I'm just gonna create a name of a pay-per-view right now. Let's say that Ray Oos was the all out champion and face Adonis for the championship, let's say at Legend Mania. I'm just creating a pay-per-view. Let's say Legend Mania, right? And let's say that the show was done that same night. Either Adonis or Reyes, or let's say Michael Craven asked me, "Hey, do you like the show? How you think the show was?" So I'm gonna say, "Oh yeah, I like the show. I like it was a great show. You guys did a great job. I like the story and everything." I'm not going to say, "Yeah, I like the show, but I didn't like how Adonis won. I think Ray Uso should have kicked the title." I'm not gonna do that because I'm not part of this generation of fans that had the mind of a booker instead of having a mind of a fan. They act more like they were the bookers. They act more like they were the management. They act more like they were the owners of the Backyard Wrestling Federation or the pro wrestling, where they are not the owners. They are not part of management or the board of directors or the writers. They just fans that pay the ticket or pay for the pay-per-view to watch the show. So I'm not going to say, "Oh yeah, but I think Ray Uso should have kept the title and I don't like how." I'm not going to say that. Because I am not the owner of WCE. I'm not part of the management or WCE. I'm not the owner. Let's say, for example, another example, RCEW, right? And let's say, for example, which this pay-per-view coming March 9. March 9 is going to be Never Surrender. And let's say that on March 10, right? On March 10, right, I watched the whole match. I watched the whole show on March 9, right? March 10, let's say AT or Skulls or Adonis asked me, "Did you like the show? What do you think about the show?" So I'm gonna be like, as a senior fan that has been watching WWE since 1985, and I only watched AAA. I watched AAA. I watched all this, TNA, NXT, and all this, and all this Backyard Wrestling Federations that are out there, like TBW and stuff like that. And Adonis asked me, "How do you like the show? What do you think about the show?" I'm gonna be like, "I love the show. You guys did a great job, and I like the storylines. I love the show. I love how you got this, and that." I'm not gonna say, "Oh yeah, I like the show, but I didn't like how." I want to mention the name. Let's say, for example, another match that I'm creating. Let's say, for example, I think no, it is a match that's going to happen. I think it's the AT is doing a open challenge match. Yeah, at the Never Surrender, right? So okay, so let's say let me mention another name. Let's say his tag team partner, Red Demon, right? Answer the challenge. Accepted the challenge. Face face AT for his title. Then let's say that Red Demon was the one that won, right? So I'm not going to say, yeah, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I like I like the show. It was a great show. It was a great pay-per-view, but I didn't like how you guys had Red Demon accepting the challenge of AT and winning it. I'm not going to say that because I am not the owner of RCEW. Yes, I am part of management of RCEW. Yes, I am. But still, I'm sitting down with my popcorn, with my soda, and I'm watching the show as a fan. I'm not going to be like, even though, yes, I am part of management of the RCEW, but still, I'm sitting down as a fan. I'm playing the character of a fan when I sit down, when I'm not doing promos, when I'm not in my talk shows or in my podcast talking about wrestling. I'm not in the ring yet, but I'm sitting down as a fan. I'm playing the character as a fan. So I'm not going to break that character and say, yeah, but I didn't like. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, I love the show, and I'm going to crap, and I'm going to say, wow, great show. Because I'm a fan. I'm not going to cry. I cry the whole time. Like, like this freaking, cry babies or this generations of fans, that so-called fans of WWE. And, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that there was Devin Helson. I wanted Chris Jericho. It's nice to want, right? It's nice to want, right? Beggars can't be choosers. Let's say I'm going to mention on the Backyard Wrestling Federation. Let's say TBW. And I'm throwing the scenario, this matches that I'm creating right now, because I'm trying to make a point, because I want, maybe if I throw these points out there, maybe these new generations of so-called WWE fans might can understand what I'm trying to say. Let's say, for example, in TBW, the general manager of TBW, Atomic Titan, makes a match for the TBW World Champion. Painkiller against Ledger for the World Heavyweight Champion, right? And they had the show. And I see the Painkiller going against Ledger for the World Champion. Painkiller win the title. Right? Next day comes Atomic Titan or Joshua Allen. Send me a message. C2K, did you like the show? What do you think about the show? I'm gonna be like, man, I love the show. Like, wow, okay, I like, the Painkiller. The Painkiller did a great job. Well, okay, wow, you guys did a great job. Yeah, I'm gonna say it that way, but I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I like this show, but I didn't like how you have Painkiller facing Ledger and winning the title. I'm not gonna do that. Why? I'm not the owner of TVW. I'm not the general manager of TVW. I'm not part of management. I'm not even the part of the how do you call that? Board of directors of TVW. Because I'm watching as a fan. They know who I am. Yeah, I'm C2K Courage to Kill. But I'm gonna watch as a fan. I'm going to enjoy the show as a fan, and I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna say that. Oh yeah, I don't think no. I'm not gonna. We're in the wrong pipe. Woo. I'm not going to be like that. I'm not. I promote these backyard wrestling federations. I'm just a promoter. That's it. But at the same time, I'm a fan. I'm going to act like a fan. And I'm going to do my job as a fan. Either if I go on into indie pro wrestling or WWE, I pick the tickets, I sit down and I buy beer, whatever, and I watch the whole show. I'm gonna do my job as a fan because I'm in the audience. I'm not in the ring. I'm in the audience. And I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself. And I'm going to enjoy the show. Or if I watch it on pay-per-view, I'm paying for the pay-per-view. That's it. But I'm still a fan. I'm still, it's called how they call behind the camera audience, basically. I am behind the camera audience. I'm behind my TV audience, which I'm sitting on my couch. But I paid the pay-per-view. I paid, let's say $10, $11, whatever or almost $25 for this pay-per-view. And I go and before I pay for this pay-per-view, I'm waiting, for the day for the pay-per-view, and like an hour before the pay-per-view starts, I go and I buy me a pizza, and I make sure that everything is prepared for me to watch the show. And I'm going to act like a fan, and I'm going to be like, woo, yeah, there you go. I'm going to crap. I'm going to act. I'm going to look at my TV, and I'm going to watch the show, and I'm going to act like a fan. I'm not gonna go in my Facebook account. I'm like, and I'm gonna go to these groups, this wrestling groups that is out there, and I'm gonna be like, you know what? I didn't space lie space delete space. I didn't like how does this have a capital? No, I don't think so. I'm gonna keep and go ahead and type in and say, yeah, I don't like how this happened in this show because I'm a crybaby, I'm a keyboard warrior, and I want attention. So I'm going to right here and say what I have to say. Say. It's crazy. Like, I'm not going to do that. But this is what this new generation of WWE fans. Oh, Dale Helson? Really? Who is he? Who is Dale Helson? Really? I thought I wanted Chris Jericho. I wanted Chris Jericho to be there. Oh, wow. I'm pissed off right now. I'm gonna go back into my computer on my Facebook account. WWE, I didn't like this. You should have stopped it. You should have do this. You don't like it, don't watch it. Watch another, change the channel. I don't know, watch the soap operas so you can cry about it. Or be like a fan like me. Show my pipe hole and just watch the show and enjoy the show. That's it. That's all what we can do. We don't pay the wrestlers. We are not the bookers. We are not part of management. We are not Triple H. It's Triple H's decision. Whoever he wants there, is his. Because now I saw it coming. Oh, everybody can be a wrestler. No, not everybody can be a wrestler. Shut up. It is. That's the way it is. If Joshua Allen is the owner of TVW, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna watch I'm gonna watch the show. And Mr. Joshua Allen tells me, "Hey, you like?" I say, "I'm gonna like it." He is the owner of the backyard wrestling of TVW. It's his decision. Even if he wants me to wrestle for TVW, he's the owner. That's his decision, not mine. And that's the way it is. And I just hope that from this episode, some of you guys are supposedly WWE fans and crybabies. Stop being a crybaby and just learn how to be a fan. That's it. Learn how to be a fan. All right, guys. This was the episode of their return of the Over the Top Rope podcast with C2K Chorus to Kill. I will be later on Salsa Talks podcast, and tonight is going to be the second part of the 3rd year anniversary of C2K and Friends at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Salsa Talks podcast will be like about, I'm going to say 6 p.m. Eastern Time at Facebook Live. So stay tuned for that. Love you guys. God bless you. Have a blessed day.
Over the top rope. Step up, lace tight, minds open wide. We don't toe lines, we cross them every time. Hot mic, turn it up, let it smoke. We say the quiet stuff right into your headphones. Over the top rope, where the wild words fly. This is the podcast, other shows won't try. Over the top rope, past the safe and the stale. We hit what they duck, tell the stories they bail. Over the top rope. Backstage, unscripted, unafraid. We call out the myths, pull the mask off the game.